Alright, well, I've acquired another piece of cast iron cookware off Craigslist. This one was. And originally when I went to meet the lady, she had something else posted on Craigslist. She had a camp style one that has the legs on the bottom and the rim on top for coals and stuff like that. And I pull up to meet her, and she pulls this thing out, and it's not even the same brand as what she had posted. The pictures are totally different. And I was kind of irritated at first because it took me like 20 minutes to drive down there to meet her. But and conveniently she'd sold that one the other day, but I guess she failed to remove the post. And then she said this one was posted on Craigslist also, and I didn't see it, so I even went back on Craigslist and looked, and it wasn't posted on there, but whatever. So I really didn't want it, but it's a 7-quart Lodge cast iron Dutch oven, crockpot cooker thing. I really didn't want it. She had the other item posted for $30, and when I got there, I told her I came 25 minutes to meet you, and this isn't even what you had originally agreed to sell to me. So needless to say, I gave her $20 for it, and it's never been used. It still has the price tag on it. It says $53. And then on the inside, it has the sticker that was stuck on the bottom, so this thing has never been used. And the inside doesn't look too bad. It looks like some water dropped in there or something and started to rust in that bottom. And there's a little bit of gunk buildup on the lid here. So not nearly as bad as the other cast iron pans that I redid. So in order to start our electrolysis tub on this, I'm using a 10-gallon trash can, and it barely fits in here. This thing's a monster. So 10-gallon trash can filled up with water, our superwashing soda, which is sodium carbonate, and that will make our electrolyte solution. So we're going to use 2 scoops for 10 gallons here, 2 cups for 10 gallons. A stick and something to hang your cast iron from the stick into your water bath, and then some duct tape. I'll show you what that's for in a second. And then a battery charger. And this one is a 6-amp charger. So I guess if you have higher amperage, it's supposed to be better, but this one has worked fine for me. And then of course, piece of steel. This is going to be our sacrificial steel. So let me start putting this together, and then I'll show you the next steps. Okay, so we got our electrolyte solution mixed up. That's with the superwashing soda, sodium carbonate. Don't use sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda. And then so I added about 2.5 cups in here, and I kind of stirred it around to make a nice soapy solution. We got our piece of rebar steel in here, and I just duct taped it there so it wouldn't move around. We don't want the rebar coming in contact with our cast iron that's going to be in here. We want to hook up the positive lead to your piece of sacrificial metal, and then we're going to hook up our negative lead to our cast iron. And I'm going to do the actual pan first. So I got it wired on here. I'm just going to hopefully put this in the solution, and then it's going to suspend across with this. So let me get that in there, and then we'll hook it up. This is barely going to fit. Okay, I don't want it to hit my metal. So let's see if it hits the metal. It's not touching. There we go. And that thing barely fits. Let me see if I can cinch this up to where it sits a little higher. Slippery. Okay, that's too high. Okay, that looks about good. So it's just right under the surface there. And I'm just going to make sure it's not touching our metal again. Okay, so I got it suspended in there and that thing barely fits. So I'm going to take my negative and actually connect it to the actual metal. I'm going to run this side here. Okay. So we're hooked up. Now once we turn the battery charger on, make sure you don't, just for safety reasons, don't touch the water while the battery charger is going. Also a good idea for safety is I have my battery charger set up on a separate surface, so if this gets dumped over, hopefully it won't, we don't want to short out or cause a fire or anything. So let's turn the battery charger on here. You can see it starting to bubble. So the water's bubbling and it'll start churning, and hopefully we'll get some bubbles to come off that. I can kind of hear it bubbling too. So I'm going to let this sit. Probably, I'm going to check it later tonight, so it'll sit for at least 6 hours, and then I'm probably just going to let it go overnight and then end up checking it in the morning. So once I come back to check our progress, we'll give you an update. Alright, well, it's actually been 24 hours. I kind of forgot about it and got busy the other night, so it's been sitting in here charging. It's been sitting in the electrolyte solution with the battery charger going for 24 hours. So we're going to pull it out and take a look at it. And first thing is make sure you unplug or turn off your battery charger. Okay, battery charger's off, so let's unhook it here. And you can see the water is a little more, has an orange tinge to it. That's the rust coming off. So let's just lift it out here and take a look. Oh yeah, it looks good. Looking good. I'm going to take this in and scrub it. You can see where that sticker was stuck on there. And if I scrub this, it should start to come off. So I'm going to take it in and scrub it with a Scotch pad. But you can see how it's nice, starting to get down to the bare metal. This will take some scrubbing on the bottom here, and I might have to let it go for another 24 hours or so. And I might have to get some steel wool and scrub on it. Sometimes that works really well too. So let's take it inside and give it a good scrub and see how it looks, and if we need to go for longer. Just real quick, here's a comparison of how rusty it was. Just surface rust on the outside, and then how it's starting to look now. Okay. This thing won't even fit in my sink. So you'll see as it starts to dry, there's going to be a little bit of flash rust that starts to form on the surface, but that's okay, because we're probably going to stick it back in the bath. And I have a little bit of steel wool here. I'm going to try with the Scotch pad first. And this is a good abrasive material. You just pour some of your super washing soda in here, and it works as a good abrasive material. Let's see how this. Oh yeah, it's coming out. Yep. I'm going to pour a little bit in here where this sticky residue was for where the sticker was. The inside is probably more important to me than the outside, but I still want the outside to look good, so we'll work on that next. Alright, so it's getting better. You can see we took off that rust, and where the sticker was, it's starting to be a little bit better, but there's no rust now. There's light surface rust on there. So what I am going to do really quickly is probably take the steel wool to this bottom area. And you want to be careful when using steel wool. because if you have coarser steel wool, this stuff will stick into your skin like little needles or barbs. And second, it'll leave little shards of steel laying around, and they will rust really quickly. So you definitely don't want to leave any in your cast iron to rust, or it'll start to discolor your sink. I had some happen around here somewhere, but I think I got it off. But anyways, we're just gonna rub it down with some steel wool. I'm just using a medium heat water. Don't want to, use a hot water and expand the metal. So just a medium lukewarm water. And it's already starting to look a lot better where that sticker piece was. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to give this a scrub here. And you can see as it was drying, I had to go get my son up from his nap. So as it was drying, you can see some of the rust, surface rust starting to show up here. But we're just going to try to scrub all that off. And this thing is a beast to scrub in a small sink. Okay, so it's starting to look better after the steel wool has gone over it. So I'm going to go over it one more time with my Scotch pad and some of the washing soda. Alright, that's starting to look really good. Really good on the inside there. Let me make sure you can see this. And then the bottom here is looking much better. Much better than it was. Okay, so let's go throw it back in the electrolysis bath. Alright, well, it's been about another 20 hours in the electrolysis tub. So I'm going to call this pretty much done as far as the bath goes. And it's looking really good. So I'm going to take it inside, give it one last scrub down, try to get some of this, the rest of this off if we can, and then start our seasoning process. So while this is going to be seasoning, I'm going to throw the lid in the electrolysis tub, just kind of the same way, just suspend it. I'm going to suspend it from the handle, and then just put it in there and hook our leads back up, and this will probably go for another day or day and a half. And just so you can see how the texture and condition of it is, pretty rusty looking, right? And there's some corrosion or buildup on here. The underside seems really good though, so we'll see how this comes out, and let's go get this one seasoned up. Okay, so after we rinse our pan off again, and I scrubbed it down just a little bit again and give it a thorough rinsing, we're going to make sure you dry it down really good, and all sides. So it doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty good actually, and some of this just might be discoloration that's actually in the metal. So it doesn't look too bad. That's the bottom anyway. The inside looks pretty good. It's starting to get just a slight bit of surface rust on here, so it's sitting for about 10 minutes. But what we want to do now is turn the oven on to 350 degrees. We're going to put this in there upside down, let it heat up and finish evaporating off any moisture that's left on the surface here. And then we're going to pull it out and apply our first coat of our cast iron conditioner and start the seasoning process. Okay, so it's been in the oven and it's pretty warm to the touch. For about maybe like 10 minutes it was in there. So what I'm going to do now is just apply some of this cast iron conditioner, and I'm just going to rub it down with a light coating. Then we're going to stick it back in the oven upside down, so that way the oil doesn't pool anywhere. So stick it in the oven upside down on like the middle rack, 350 degrees for 1 hour, and we're going to do that. I'm probably going to do that like 5 times. So after 1 hour, I'll turn the oven off, let this cool down, take it out, re-season it, turn the oven back on, put it back in, and do that about 5 times. So it's probably going to take the rest of the day, just kind of a off and on ongoing process. But after that, this should be seasoned and we're ready to start cooking in. So let's go ahead and apply a little bit of this oil here. Alright, well it's the next day on the pan lid, and I'm going to pull it out here. Make sure you turn off your battery charger. And there's that. So it's looking better. I'm going to take it inside, and this looks good because this was probably never really exposed. But I'm going to take it inside and scrub this lid off with the Scotch pad and some of the steel wool, and then I'll bring it back out and we can see how it looks, and probably will have to go in again. Alright, so I took it inside, gave it a scrub, kind of how we did on the pot, and it's looking much better. So the inside, I mean, I really didn't even have to scrub this at all, so but it's looking pretty good, and I'm just going to stick it back in probably for another 24 hours, and then I'll take it out and scrub it again and probably call it good. Alright, well here is the seasoned Dutch oven pot, 7-quart pot. It's seasoned now. I seasoned it about, I think, 6 times. So all day yesterday afternoon I seasoned it, and I seasoned it one last time earlier this morning. So I think it was about 6 times total of seasoning. And as you can see, it's starting to have a really nice patina seasoning on it, and it came out really good. Pretty happy with it. So the electrolysis tub worked great, and the seasoning works great too. And you can kind of, I wasn't able to get the bottom completely clean, but that just might be impurities that are now in the metal itself. So, but overall, it came out really good and has a really good base coating on it. I consider this, when I season them like this, I consider this the base coating, and then from here on out, every time we cook with it, we're gonna keep adding to that seasoning. So one of the things I might cook in here first is maybe like a pork shoulder roast or something, something that has a little bit more fat content that will go out into the metal and help to really get that flavor seasoning and the non-stick seasoning going in it. So the lid's still in the electrolysis bath. I'm going to leave the lid in there until tomorrow morning. I'm going to pull it out and do the same thing with it, seasoning. So this one is a Lodge product. It obviously, I don't know if they got this before Lodge started using their pre-seasoned method. So I don't really know, but this one, or if it was just left out and it got really rusty and the pre-season came off. But most of the Lodge products, when you get them, the pre-seasoning, I only have to season it in the oven 2 or 3 times, and then I start cooking with it. If you're restoring something, or you get something that has a lot of rust on it and you restore it and stuff like that, then you're going to want to season it. I season this one 6 times, so the more the better. 5 or 6 times is usually good. Brand new stuff, 3 times I would say is good. So I'm going to season the lid tomorrow, and then this thing's going to be good to go. Hopefully I'll be able to show some cooking with it and go from there. So give the electrolysis method a try. It's really simple, very minimal process. I mean, once you stick it in the electrolysis bath, you just leave it. So I think it's the best method to clean cast iron with and to restore cast iron. The second best method is a self-cleaning oven where you can bake it in there and sort of bake off some of the gunk and stuff, but then you got to take it out and scrub it down. So electrolysis really helps to pull the rust and impurities off the metal. I would not recommend using oven off or any other type of chemical cleaner. You really don't want the chance of those chemicals getting into your metal and staying in there, and then when you go to cook, they might come out. And I've seen tons of videos of people using oven off, and you stick it in a bag and you let it sit, but that just doesn't appeal to me. So the electrolysis method is really easy. Go get yourself a cheap battery charger from Walmart or something like that, or go get an expensive battery charger. I don't care, but battery charger and the super washing soda, Arm & Hammer super washing soda, sodium carbonate, and make up your electrolyte solution and then put your cast iron in there. So hope this gives you some ideas. Thanks.